Recently, I had a comment that was posted on one of my YouTube videos that it was kind of disappointed that I didn't do more videos. And the real reason is I really haven't had time. I probably will get back to them soon, but right now, uh, I've got other things in my life that uh, I'm more interested in. But I did come across the fact that I had made a lot of Facebook Live videos, and there was a lot of good information in them that some of it wasn't in the videos that I had currently listed. So what I decided to do was list these to my YouTube channel. And I hope you enjoy them. I hope you find more knowledge in them. And also, if you're not a subscriber, well, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you'll be notified. You select all. And if you like them, give them a big thumbs up. I hope you enjoy. Okay. We're going to do a little short live stream today. And I'm going to get things kind of set up here, so it'll take just a minute, and we'll give those that want to watch a little chance to tune in before we get started here. All right. What we're going to be talking about today is making doublets or triplets. And I don't know how much bandwidth I got, so we'll just see how things goes. And if you missed the first of it, don't worry. You can always go back and watch one. But we'll give it another minute or two. There's a few of you tuned in here, and hopefully it's going to be run a lot smoother than it did last time. Maybe I've got a little more bandwidth, and it won't be so jumpy. All right, let's see. Okay, what we're going to talk about is making doublets and triplets, and we're gluing up material. And when we do this, you need a few supplies to do this. It's nothing complicated. You're going to need, and it doesn't matter what brand, a good 2-port epoxy, a 5-minute epoxy like the 330 epoxy or some other brand of 5-minute epoxy. You don't want to use the 330. You don't want to use the 220. It's not going to set as clear, and you're going to have problems later on. Now, hopefully, I'll have enough bandwidth that I can see any type of questions that you might have. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to be doing something fairly simple today. I have this heart, and it's a Pridey plume, but it doesn't polish good in a lot of the plume areas, and so it would look good, but it won't look as good as if it has a quartz cap on it. Now, I don't recommend using glass as a cap. Glass is soft. It'll start to scratch. It get hazy from light scratches. I like to use quartz, and you can buy quartz. This is a piece of man-made quartz that was cut down so I can put on here. Now, you don't have to trim your piece beforehand either. Now I did trim this out and kind of shaped it. And I cut this not real thin because I'm going to make this actually a triplet. I'm going to cap this on both sides. But whenever you do this, now if you have a smaller one, now this is just a piece of a quartz crystal, a nice clear one that I collected up in Arkansas. And a lot of times you can buy a broken nice clear point, but it's not good for any type of collection or anything. But the quartz is excellent for capping material. If you get some that's not cloudy, and this is it looks hazy because it's been cut. It's not polished, but it's really a super clear piece. A lot of that comes out of Mount Ida area in Arkansas and in Hot Springs area. There's a lot of nice clear quartz up there. So if you find bigger ones that's broken, if you happen to go on a field trip, don't pass them by if you do lapidary, because they come into use. Now what I've done is I've marked one side of this with the X because it hadn't been cleaned up good. And now I made this piece, and after I made it, I didn't catch I have a little fracture line in here. Now this fracture line is even if I glued it up towards the edge, it's going to be real close. There's no sense in going ahead and using this piece. So what I did was I went ahead and cut another one, and so I could use it in place of that one. I'll set that aside. Now, if you're doing some cabochons, now you can buy quartz caps. This is a quartz cap that's already made. They're domed. They're nice, crystal clear. They come in different shapes. You get ovals and rounds and such as that. But for me, being I'm going to cab and everything, and the expense of buying these pre-polished. Now, if for some reason that's the way you want to go, that is an option. But for me, maybe I'm just too cheap. Let's just say it that way. But what we're going to do is we're going to clean up our pieces. Now, we're just going to use denatured alcohol. And I've got one piece I still need to clean up here, so we'll go ahead and take care of that. And I want to make sure I don't clean my mark off it, but I'm just going to clean up the whole surface with this denatured alcohol. Make sure there's no powder or dust that was from whenever they made the cab. Now I use just a piece of glass. This is a broken window. I just cut them into small pieces where I can mix on. Make sure it's good and clean. I wouldn't mix my stuff on cardboard. If you pick up any fibers from that's going to be in between your pieces and could create a problem. Now with this two-part epoxy, you've got a hardener and you've got a resin. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix equal parts of both. And it doesn't take a whole lot. And if I don't mix up enough, that's no big deal because I can come back and mix some more. Now, the resin is thicker than the hardener, so when I put this on and I put equal parts, I'm going to put a little bigger glob of the hardener because it's not going to stand up as tall. And we'll see how that goes. Initially, it might look like it's as big. Now I'm going to stand this up so I can look and make sure. If anything, make sure you have more hardener than you do resin. You don't want a problem that it won't set. Now all we're going to do is we're going to mix these together, and it says a certain amount of time to mix. Now I'm just going to mix it until I feel like I've got it good and solid. I always start when I mix. I start with the side with the hardener. That way, if something is on the stick stuck to it, it's not going to be the resin, and then I end up coating resin that's not mixed. If there's a little extra hardener on there, it'll you can take and it'll go ahead and harden up. And then once I mix this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece. I'm going to lay a coating on this piece. It doesn't have to be a whole lot, because when you're done, it's going to be a thin layer. Just make sure it's coated all the way. And I'm going to do the same thing with this other piece. I'm just going to coat a thin layer on here, just so it's covered. I'm putting it on both halves because, and I'll try to keep where you can see what's going on. But then once I do that, I'll take these two pieces and I'm going to just put them together. But I'm going to start it. I'm going to kind of lay it from one side or one end to the other end. So I kind of push the bubbles out completely out the other end, and then I'm going to push it down good and kind of wiggle it around. I want just a thin layer of epoxy between this surface and the material. Now once I do that, I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. I'm going to coat this side, and I'm wearing latex gloves because some people are sensitive to this, but I just don't like getting it on my hands and then have to try to clean it off, because it's a whole lot easier not doing it. Now if you notice, I just rake what's extra I have there so as to not be, I guess, wasteful, but it's just easier. I don't have to worry about mixing up as much. And then I'll take and do this same way. Now, you should have enough to finish up this. And this is 5 minutes of epoxy, so it doesn't stay soft long, so you have to work fairly quick. And it's something you can do. It's not a problem to do that. Now, once I get the other side there, I'm just going to push these together the same way. I'm just going to sandwich it in between there, make sure I've got it away from the end so I can, or from the edge, so I'll have a full cap. Now, if you didn't want as thick a cab, you could always, or whatever you're working on, and a doublet is just putting two pieces together. Now, there's two types of doublet caps. One is where it's curved on both sides. They call that a doublet. Another one is when they take another material and glue it to it. That's a doublet. But what I've done is, like I say, I've just pushed off all the extra material, and I'll let this set. Now, as far as the directions, you can read the directions, and it'll tell you it sets up pretty quick. It says that it reaches full bond at an hour. Now, don't go work this in an hour. Just glue it up, let it set overnight, and come back the next day and work it up. Give it a good time to set up and dry. Once you do this, now this is going to be actually a doublet triplet, because I'm going to do on both sides of this, because the material was so nice looking that I couldn't figure out which side that I actually wanted as a front and which is a back, so I figured I'd just quartz cap both sides. And I'll cut my cap down low so it won't be near this thick, because I'll probably take off about half this material. But you'd work it just like you did any other cab. You know, you just clean off the side. Now I'll probably just grind this off. I won't try to cut it. You can trim these closer whenever you're doing this, but for me, it never fails. Something happens and it's out of place, and I'd end up with an edge that it didn't come up to. So it's easiest for me to just go this way. But this is already bonded to where I can hold one piece. It's bonded to where it's holding itself together.
and then, like I say, all you have to do is let it dry. Now, some people, they rush up, and if you was you can do this same process when you're working opal triplets. You work down a certain amount, and then you'll put some kind of back, whether it be a jet or a black basalt or something as a back, and then you'd work it down the rest of the way, and then you'd put a quartz cap on. And a lot of times they'll put them under a heat lamp, let it heat up, and let it get set up quicker. But like I say, unless you're in a hurry, and I'm not going to set that on that stick where it'll dry on there. But unless you're in a hurry, just do it up and let it go overnight, and everything will be in good shape. Let me see if I've got any comments here that I might need to address. Like I say, this isn't going to be a long thing. Well, thanks. Yeah, I thought it was rather a nice piece. But this, like I mentioned, opal, but there's a lot of other things that you might want to make a doublet for. Now this here is a nice piece of white plume. It's cut fairly thin, and what's common when you have a plume with a nice clear background is you'll take a different color of material. You might use you could use a slag glass, but I don't think I would. But you might put lapis behind here to give a nice blue tint to your white areas with or you might even go with a black background, to give it a good offset to it or something. But that's where this plays into. Now, when I use it the most, it's either I have saginite. When you have saginite spray and a material, the material's real nice, but a lot of times the saginite undercuts and won't polish. So I've taken some that was pretty good material and turned it into real good material just by putting a thin quartz cap on the top of it, and then doming it over. Because once this is finished, this piece will be crystal clear, and I'll try to post it with the live feed video where it's recorded, so you can see what the finished product looks like. But if we don't have any questions, like I say, this isn't going to be very long here today, and I don't see any. I appreciate you looking. If there's something that you want to know more about and would like to see a demonstration on it or something, and it's possible to do it, then just comment, let me know, or comment in the feed, and tag one of the administrators so that we'll be sure to catch it. I'm sure we will. We don't have that many things go through, but sometimes we don't get notifications and through Facebook. I know I'll miss some, but if you tag me in the comments when you make the comments or in the post, I'll definitely I definitely always get the notification for that. So once again, that's all for today, and just have fun.